Hi guys, my name is M.Rafi Hafidz and my student number is 21, 34 and 3000 and 6. Me with my friend Oktaviana Rosita and her student number is 21, 34, 000 and 4. We want to tell you about this story about the old man and the sea that published in 1995. So, there is a person who is quite old and does not get any fish even though he has fished for 84 days. For more than a month, the first 10 days he was accompanied by a small child and so on until the last day he was alone. But the child's parents told their son to join another fishing boat. Out of pity to see this old man, this child always helped push a boat to sail this old man boat. Very visible black spot due to the sun, and also scratches because of big fish. You can see that this man quite old, but his eyes look young. This child again offered to sail with this old man, but this old man refused and told him to stay in the boat that caught a lot of fish. In the end, this child offered to treat this old man to drink. When the two of them sat on the terrace, many fishermen jeered, but the old man remained focused on chatting with this young boy. And the next day, the weather was very sunny, and this child called the old man to offer sardine, but the old man refused and told the boy to play volleyball. This old man also asked if the child remembered the accident that was experienced with him and the child. And the child also told a very detailed and a clear story. This old man was shocked and assumed that the child was his son. But after that, the child still wanted to buy a grandfather's sardine and bake. This child bought a bake for the old man, and the old man was very confused as to why there's such a good child. And this child asked what activities the old man will do tomorrow, and the old man answered that he wanted to sail for fish. And the next day they took the things that were in the boat to be repaired again. They headed to the old man's house. After arriving home, they put their things on the floor. The child asked if he could repair the old man's net, but the net was only the old man's imagination, including with the newspaper that the old man talked about. And then the old man took his imagination. They also chatted about volleyball in the area, and the child went to buy sardine. After the child came back, he saw the old man sleeping. He recovered him so he wouldn't get any cold and sick. He was surprised by the old man's neck, which still looked very young. And after that, the boy left again. But after the child came back, the old man was still asleep, and he woke him up. And the old man asked what he brought from outside, and the child still replied he bought the dinner for them. What was about the rice, boiled meat, and soybean, and also fried bananas. While they were eating, the old man pressed the boiled meat, and he said the boiled meat was very good. And child asked the old man for a story about baseball. After the food, they continued with other conversation. And after that, they took a break, and the old man got up very early to go fishing. The old man wake up the child at his house by sneaking up on the child's house, and they prepare tools for fishing. After that, they drank coffee while chatting casually, and the old man launched his boat into the sea and prayed for one another. After arriving at the sea, he felt very sorry for the bird because they had to find on their food in the sea, which according to the old man was a place to pounce. After a long time, the old man saw a bird nearby and signaled to him that there was a dolphin nearby. But unfortunately of the hook, it turned out the old man's secret to having healthy eyes. It turned out that the old man's secret to having healthy eyes is to drink fish oil, even though he doesn't like the smell, but for the sake of his health, he drank it. He also saw two dolphins flying around. The grandfather also felt guilty for taking female totka fish and also wished the child was with him to accompany him to help him because he was having trouble with the rope. And the old man also chatted with the birds that were nearby. The old man's hand was injured and he tried to treat it with the sea water for about 10 minutes. And after that, the old man was struggling with the fish in the sea, and he finally gave some of what he brought to the fish in the sea, and the rest for him to eat. He ate the fish like sashimi. After that, suddenly the old man's hand cramped because he held the rope with his hand, and to heal it, he just massaged it. And the old man lamented his fate of being alone in the vast sea. And I think in my opinion, this book has words that are quite easy to understand for anyone, and no need to interrupt too deeply to this book. And this book also does not have too many characters, and also a storyline that fit the theme or the title. And this book don't have many side story, so this book is perfect for reading in your spare time. Or
next, on 18th birthday, Santiago sat alone, tucking his small boat deep into the middle of the Gulf of Mexico. Her active his hook, and the next afternoon around fish, he believed was a marlin with the bait. Santiago is unable to pull the fish. Instead of feeding his small boat being pulled by the giant fish, today and tonight. Based in the situation, and during that time, the old man restrained to nose with his own strength with great difficulty. Even though he is in great pain and hard in his struggle, Santiago developed compassion and respect for his opponent, often referring to the fish and his brother. He also decided that because of the great dignity of the sea, no one was worthy to eat the fish. Long short story, during the day, the bait is eaten by large fish, a marlin that was almost as long as the boat. But because the fish was so big, he was unable to depart home. Even he and his small boat were attracted by the fish movement. Santiago's boat was captained by the fish, and together they sailed the ocean that was getting redder and farther from the reach of the average fisherman. For 3 days, he had to hold the hook stuck in the marlin mouth and wait for the right moment, until finally the marlin repeatedly jumped into the air, getting closer and closer to the boat so that the owlman was ready to stab the flag. It's hard not to play. The owlman reset his leg with the sea breeze that never stopped blowing despair. Nevertheless, he calls to the wind. On the third day of his struggle, the fish began to cycle his little boat, showing his tiredness to the owlman. Santiago, now exhausted, was delirious and almost inside. Using all the strength he had left to pull the fish to the side of his boat and stab the marlin with a harpoon, thus ending the long struggle between the owlman and the fish. Very strong survived. Santiago tied the marlin carcass the side of the small boat and began sailing home. Thinking about the high price the fish would charge at the fish market and the number of people would enjoy the catch. As Santiago continues his journey back to the seaside, the shark became attracted to the trash of blood marlin left in the water. The first is a mako shark that killed with harpoon, causing him to lose the weapon. Then assemble a new harpoon by tying a curve to the end of an hour to drive away from the next sharks. 5 sharks were killed and many others eventually lived. Each day the shark had devoured the marlin's carcass, leaving only the skeleton of its fins, tail, and heart, where its heart was still stuck in the owlman fishing harpoon. Santiago is very sad and punishes him for sacrificing the marlin and finally reached to the shore before dawn the next day. The struggle to walk to his home, carrying his weapon was on his shoulder. After arriving home, he lay down on the bed and went into a long sleep. In conclusion, Santiago and marlin, which described and symbol relationship, will so close and warm. The attention that Marlin gave to Santiago was felt. Many mention and listen are implied in the story of the old man and the sea. In the mind sense of whatever problem before Santiago in the middle of the ocean, he still tries to do things positive and optimistically. His palm failure did not discourage him. He is not sure that he will succeed with his ability, and whatever he found his mind on his overcoming the situation. Instead of giving into the situation, he remained patient and believed that all problems can be resolved and things will be get better. His determination is reflected very clearly. That review of the man, the omen and the sea, sorry from me and Ravi, happily entertaining and useful. Thank you.